Washington is stepping up diplomatic efforts to help Ukraine. Vice President Kamala Harris is headed to Poland and Romania. Now, her trip comes just after the United States rejected Poland's proposal to give Ukraine Russian-made fighter jets. Poland was hoping that they would then receive US-made jets in exchange. America and NATO have been trying to bolster Ukraine's defences, but they also want to avoid getting pulled into a wider war with Russia. Simon Marks joins us live now from Washington, D.C. for more on this. Simon, the Vice President's trip, it just got more complicated now with the US rejection of Poland's offer. The White House seemingly caught off guard by it, but Kamala Harris has been tasked with smoothing over the situation with Poland.
Yeah, and that is going to be extremely difficult, Dawn, given the events of the last 24 to 48 hours. I mean, earlier in the week, Secretary of State Antony Blinken was reported to have green-lighted this idea of sending MiG fighter jets currently that Poland has to Ukraine, and then the United States would backfill those fighter jets and replace them with alternative fighter aircraft. But it was very evident shortly after those reports came in that the Pentagon had major reservations about this idea. First of all, because of concerns that it might inexorably suck the United States into conflict indirectly with Russia, that it may provide the Kremlin with an opportunity to say, look, in essence, NATO is fighting a war with us without actually putting any of their own military forces on the line. But secondly, also because the Pentagon said they had no idea where they were going to source at short order the replacement fighter jets that Poland wanted. Then Poland upped the ante yesterday, publishing a statement on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website saying, we're ready to go. We're ready to ship our MiG fighter jets to the American Air Force Base in Ramstein in Germany. The State Department was caught completely off guard by this move, and last night the Pentagon described the plan as untenable. So it is into that vortex that the Vice President of the United States is now flying. She's going to have some pretty complicated conversations with the Poles, who are very eager to be seen to assist the Ukrainians now in ways that the United States and other NATO allies view as too risky a plan. So complicated talks ahead for her.
Yeah, and an awkward moment for her as well, Simon, but it does come at a critical juncture for ties between the White House and Europe. So what else is on Ms. Harris' agenda while she's on this trip to Europe?
Yeah, well, it does give her an opportunity to burnish her foreign policy credentials if the next couple of days in Poland and Romania go well. I mean, she is travelling to both of those countries at a time when, as NATO allies, they are hugely important to the United States and, of course, geographically so much closer to the conflict than the United States. So she needs, on the one hand, to shore up this concept of unity that President Biden insists has taken Vladimir Putin by surprise on the part of NATO and its partners. But she's also going to have to allay concerns in Romania and Poland that the alliance ought to be doing more tangible to assist President Volodymyr Zelensky and respond to his pleas for assistance, whether the imposition of a no-fly zone that the United States and NATO formally currently rejects, or the provisioning of other assistance. But certainly this is an important landmark trip for the Vice President, and we'll see her returning from it seared with more foreign policy experience that she doesn't currently have on her CV.
Simon, thank you for that update. Simon Marks there in Washington, D.C.